Africa, often stereotyped as a land of poverty and conflict, is undergoing a remarkable transformation. A wave of investment initiatives is changing the continent's economic environment and advancing it toward a better future. These initiatives, from technical improvements to infrastructural development, are boosting the continent's economy, generating jobs, and raising millions of Africans' living standards. This is why in today's video, we will talk about Tanzania, which has registered 409 investment projects between January and June. We will also tell you more about other African countries changing the narrative and striving to make Africa great. But before we continue, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the New Tourist channel to know what is happening in Africa. Between the first 6 months of 2024, Tanzania registered 409 investment projects worth $3.09 billion. Of these projects, 385 were new, with 24 flagged for further development. Registered projects with $3.5 billion in domestic and $5 billion in foreign investment are included in the 1,000 investment projects targeted for 2024. Tanzania Investment Center, TIC's target is 293 more projects, compared to projects achieved in the 2023-2024 financial year, which ended on June 30, 2024. According to TIC data, manufacturing registered 196 projects totaling $1.42 billion between January and June, making it the industry most successful in obtaining capital through investment projects. There were 68 transportation projects with a capital of $570 million, 4 to 5 commercial building projects worth $501 million, 40 tourism projects, $225 million, 5 human resource, health and educational projects valued at $123.8 million. There were also 7 energy investment projects valued at $80 million. Out of all these registered investment projects, 185 are owned by foreigners, 165 are owned by Tanzanians, and 59 are joint ventures between foreign and local investors. According to Mr. Gilead Terry, Executive Director of the Tanzania Investment Center, the organization has worked to change Tanzanians' perspectives on investment in addition to aiming to improve the registration of domestic investment projects. According to him, the campaign's objectives are to stimulate people's interest, encourage it, and get them working with important investment stakeholders to meet their financial objectives. TIC is working with the Tanzania Chamber of Commerce Industry and Agriculture, the Tanzania Women Chamber of Commerce, and the CRDB Bank to carry out the 2-phase campaign. The first phase targeted 17 regions, and the second phase will see 8 regions: agriculture, fishing, raising livestock, mining, mineral processing, producing pharmaceuticals and medical equipment, fish, and agro-processing have all piqued interest as a result of the first phase. Tanzanians have been attracted to benefit from tax and non-tax incentives provided by the government through TIC to reduce investment capital for their projects, stated Terry. Mr. Terry also stated that the Investment Act 2022 has lowered the minimum investment capital requirement from $100,000 to $50,000 by the government. All this happening at a time when the Tanzania Petroleum Development Corporation is ramping up natural gas production by 80 million cubic feet in the next year to meet surging demand. The corporation anticipates a significant increase in demand for compressed natural gas as more vehicles are converted from petrol to natural gas. The number of industries that use natural gas to power their industrial production activities is expected to climb, and this trend will be aided by the predicted rise in demand for the resource in surrounding nations. As a result, the Tanzania Petroleum Development Corporation has said it will start production as its second quarter project in the Ruvuma Ntoria block, which will produce 60 million cubic feet, and expand production at its Mnazi Bay site by 20 million cubic feet more in the next year. The United States government, through the U.S. Agency for International Development, recently announced an investment of $8.3 million to several Tanzania firms to boost trade, improve food security, and strengthen Tanzania's competitiveness in the export arena through the African Growth and Opportunity Act. U.S. Agency for International Development announced that 9 local firms will receive grants under their Africa Trade and Investment Project. to highlight a few of the expected results stemming from these new partnerships. Tanzania is well positioned to expand its honey production as it is currently Africa's second largest honey producer and the top supplier to the EU. We can see how Tanzania is coming up powerfully with different investment initiatives. Bear in mind that Africa's youthful population contributes to an abundance of labor, which is one of the region's highest potentials for labor-intensive industrialization and lowers production costs, leading to benefits that far outweigh the cost of doing business on the continent. African countries are predicted to dominate the world's top 10 highest growing economies in a few years. The most notable growth drivers in Africa in 2024 will be Niger, Senegal, Ivory Coast, DRC, and Rwanda. Growth in Niger will be fueled by the recovery of agricultural production, despite its susceptibility to unfavorable weather, and an increase in crude oil production, which will help the transportation industry. On the other hand, recent military takeovers and sanctions from neighboring blocs have caused severe economic disruption and social consequences. The growth in Senegal will be driven by rising private and infrastructure projects. However, residents in up to 15 African nations are participating in elections this year, including the recently concluded presidential elections in Senegal, which could impact the short-term growth and development. Senegal's new president, Bassirou Faye, is on the path to making Senegal great. The robust expansion of DRC, Rwanda, and Ivory Coast is attributed to an increase in infrastructure investment, continuous development in tourism, good performance of the mining industry, and advantages of economic diversification. Private consumption and investment will drive Rwanda's growth, while increased investment from pro-competitive market reforms and improved business environment in the National Development Plan, along with private consumption influenced by declining inflation, will drive Ivory Coast's growth. Net exports, private consumption, and gross fixed investment will be the primary drivers of the continent's growth, which is predicted to increase from 2.8% in 2023 to 3.5% this year and 4.1% in 2025. In 2023, the global economy showed resilience with declining energy and food prices, increased consumption in China, and improved U.S. economic growth. Still, the outlook remains uncertain, with high debt, rising borrowing costs, weak global trade, and mounting geopolitical risks, constraining progress toward the Sustainable Development Goals and Agenda 2063 targets. To meet the Sustainable Development Goals, more domestic resources must be mobilized and innovative finance mechanisms, like debt swaps, must be implemented. These mechanisms must be strengthened through institutional development, capacity building, and the promotion of tax reforms. Digital technology must also be used. We cannot talk about how Tanzania is taking over Africa with these mega projects without telling you what Ibrahim Traoré is doing in Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traoré has been so much for Burkina Faso in the short time he has been leader. Traoré has laid the foundation to construct a gold refinery to process more gold locally and maintain control over its primary source of income in the face of a fall in gold production. This action is being taken at a time when the nation's gold output fell by 15% in 2017 as a result of an Islamist insurgency that affected the mining sector. It is said that this refinery will be done by the end of 2025. The Moroccan cement manufacturer, CIMAF, has begun works to build a plant in Burkina Faso that will be powered by solar power. President Ibrahim Traoré and Chief of CIMAF Anas Safriwi presided over the inaugural ceremony. Traoré said they want raw materials to be converted on site, which will result in the creation of numerous jobs in the cement sector and in the exploitation management department at this calcination facility. The plant would meet the cement needs of Burkina Faso and cut hard currency spent on imports of this vital construction material. It is anticipated that the solar power plant will be operational in 24 months, and the production unit will follow suit. The projects unveiled by CIMAF not only showcase the company's dedication to expanding its manufacturing capacity in Burkina Faso, but also the country's increasing focus on sustainable industrial practices. Traoré stated that he believes the solar unit that goes with the cement factory will lower production costs. Burkina Faso's solar plant project is a significant leap towards addressing the country's energy needs. Traore is also leading the construction of an $8 million tomato processing facility to revolutionize the country's agriculture industry. The launching of these projects is to create job opportunities, particularly for the youth. He is also focusing on agriculture and rural development to improve food security, sustainable farming, and rural livelihoods. If most African countries can follow the examples of Tanzania and Burkina Faso, to be precise, then Africans will start seeing the continent as home and stop looking for greater pastures in foreign countries. Do you think this wave of investment initiatives is changing the continent's economic environment and advancing it toward a better future? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the New Tourist channel. Turn on notifications too so you get notified whenever we upload videos like this. Thanks for watching and see you in our next video.